And ultimately, the custodians of that supreme law is not the Supreme Court, not the President, not the Congress. Ultimately, we, the people, are the custodian of the Constitution, which is the supreme law of our land. We are the ones that are ultimately given the responsibility to protect the liberties that we have in this country. It is wrong to think that somehow or another we must let members of government to be the protectors in this area. Sure, they are to subscribe themselves to the principles of the Constitution, but when they are derelict in that responsibility, when they fail to live up to their contract with we the people, it is up to we the people, as Jefferson said in the Declaration, to alter, or in their case, to abolish such government and to replace it with such government as they deem fitting for their liberties. And we have that opportunity to do that every 2 years or every 4 years, depending upon what the election may be. And if we get this idea that somehow or another that we are trapped into this two-party mentality, that we have to choose the lesser of two evils, and that it does, there's nothing else we can do, we have bought into the fallacy that the protector of our freedom lies within a particular political party. I challenge you, if you have not already done so, to please read George Washington's farewell address. In my opinion, his farewell address is one of the greatest political speeches ever delivered on American soil. It should be must-reading for every American citizen. In his farewell address, he warns his posterity about several things. And one of the things that he brought out in that address was to be careful about an over-infatuation with political parties. And he said in his farewell address that if you're not careful, the interests of the party will supersede the interests of the country. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to suggest that we have many people in our country, regardless of whether they call themselves Democrat or Republican, that right now, whether they call themselves liberal or conservative, they are, whether they realize it or not, they are putting the principles of the party or the best interests of the party above the best interests of the country. And my friends, that must stop. We all are familiar with the saying, my country right or wrong, and some people love to quote that as if that meant some kind of a blind loyalty, even to despotism or tyranny or whatever it might happen to be. But they don't go on with the rest of it that says, my country right or wrong, if right, to keep it right, and if wrong, to make it right. And there are many things that we have to do in this country to make things right in America. And I can tell you one of the things that I believe is absolutely central to our survival as a nation is border security. If we do not have border security in this country, we are going to lose our very way of life. And I could tell you again, if God somehow smiled on our endeavor, and I was able to take that oath of office in January, not only would that new world order come crashing down, but that border would be secure within 30 days. It would be secure. You don't have to have a fence to do it either. It is absolutely crazy that the Bush administration would take National Guard troops from the United States, send them to Iraq to guard the borders of Iraq, and leave America's own borders unprotected. That's absolutely asinine. And I got to tell you, I just came from the border down there. I was in California, and I went to the official border there in San Diego, and I saw what's going on there with our Border Patrol and our Customs. I got the VIP tour, and I saw, firsthand what those fellows are doing down there. And I mean, they really are doing yeoman's work, and we ought to be very thankful for what they're doing. They're working their hearts out at very limited resources and under very, very uncomfortable and difficult circumstances. The problem is that they're not doing their best. The problem is our government is not giving them the tools they need to do their job. And for example, I found out when I was on the border that our Border Patrol agents do not even have GPS equipment. Can you imagine that? I found out when I was there that our Border Patrol agents don't even have night vision equipment. Can you imagine that? They are outmanned, outgunned, out-equipped. A few people on a limitless border. They are confronting some of the most violent people in the Northern Hemisphere. They are up against gang members. They're up against drug dealers of every kind, professional criminals, coyotes, human traffickers. And they're putting their lives on the line. And most of it's being done at night, of course. Duh. And our government has not even supplied night vision equipment to our Border Patrol people. That is absolutely crazy. It's insane. What I'm saying to you is the reason our borders are open is not because our people out there are not doing their jobs. It's not because they don't want to do what's right. The problem is we have an administration, and it doesn't matter whether it's Democrat or Republican, we have administrations in Washington, D.C. that have a vested interest in keeping the borders open because the agenda is to merge America into a supranational government, very similar to what was done in Europe with the creation of the European Union. They desire a North American Union. They desire a NAFTA superhighway. They desire America to absolve its independence, to be merged into a trilateral government, which is a precursor to an international government whenever the EU and the North American Union are combined by 2015. This is an agenda. It is a goal, it is an ambition, and they are very, very close to their agenda becoming a reality. By the way, my hat's off to the brave, patriotic Texans who are right here on the border resisting that NAFTA superhighway and who are petitioning Governor Perry and the other members of the legislative bodies here in Texas, and they are saying in a very loud and forceful tone, we will not tolerate a NAFTA superhighway in Texas. Thank God for the liberty-minded Texans here in this state. I salute you. The people in Texas are fighting the Alamo all over again, and only this time I believe that we're going to win. I really believe that there is an awakening, thanks to people like Tom DeWeese and people like you and the people that have been on this platform this week and others of you that are in this audience, those of us that are standing in the gap because of our combined efforts. There's no question that we are plugging the dike, that we are keeping this at bay. And don't you know that the forces that desire globalism are just hoping that we will just go away. They're hoping that we will tire. They're hoping that we'll become weary. They're hoping that we'll just become frustrated with it all and we'll just give up trying, give up resisting. It's not going to happen. As long as we have breath, we will fight.